Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a very brief stock analysis on Macy's as well as giving my opinion on the industry, which the industry I'm considering for this is big department store retail. And this is not really going to be doing a deep dive into their financials, but more so a opinion-based video based on how I think the company could do long-term and if they're going to be able to survive. And here's a look at Macy's year to date. We can see that at the beginning of the year, it was right around $17 and it dipped all the way down to $4.38. And it may be a little bit surprising to see that it's up to $8.21 today, up almost 5%. But if you look at a lot of the different stocks out there, pretty much everything that was hit really hard by the last few months is seeing a really big rebound this week and especially today. And that's really regardless of how the company is doing financially or how they're going to be able to do long term. And if we look at the 5-year chart for this company, it's a much more telling story. They were up at $70 5 years ago, and they're all the way down to $8 now, and that's after their stock is almost doubled from being at its lowest point. And if we look at their year-over-year revenue and earnings, we're seeing a slight decrease in revenues every year and actually a relatively steady earnings with slim earnings in 2020 so far, as well as a big increase in earnings from 2017 to 2018. I also want to take a look at a few points by the Bulls and Bears by analysts at Morningstar, but before we do that, I want to talk just for a second about JCPenney. JCPenney here you can see is at 18 cents. They're pretty much gone, no longer listed. And to be honest, I really see Macy's being the next JCPenney. Macy's fiercest competitor has always been JCPenney, or maybe not always, but in the last few decades. And since Sears declared bankruptcy, it's really just been these two and big department store retailers. So now it's just Macy's left. And JCPenney being out of the picture is actually really great for Macy's because they're really the only one left. And it may give Macy's a couple more years, but really malls and big department stores have been in decline for almost a decade, really. Although Macy's has done a great job at boosting their online sales, it's really not sustainable and they're going to be forced to close their department stores really within the next couple of years. But this would really be the only way out for the company as if they could continually boost online sales in a really major way. Now I'm going to take a look at a few points by the Bulls and Bears by an analyst at Morningstar. And I have to say I really disagree with all of these bull points, which is really rare. The first one is that Macy's Blue Mercury chain of beauty and spa stores is expanding rapidly and may grow into the next Sephora and Ulta. And I'm about as far away from an expert on their Blue Mercury chain as you can be, but I really think this is far-fetched. I really can't see it happening, honestly. And then the next point is that Macy owns significant real estate that could be sold to provide liquidity. And this is extremely true. They have a ton of space that may be bought up by another huge retailer. Amazon has actually been buying up a ton of mall space for the last few years, and no one really knows why. But that is really true that they could continue to close down stores just in order to survive, but that's really not sustainable for long term, and especially not going to help them grow. And then just lastly, it says that their Polaris plan is going to help them grow their presence with discount apparel market. And they have 1 million competitors, and I'm really not sure they're the one to grow in that space. They've been doing it for, 1 million years, so I really don't see any kind of major revolution coming there. And then I also wanted to take a look at a few points by the Bears, and the first one is that as sales shift to online and discount retailers, Macy's is stuck with too many huge department stores. And I mentioned that JCPenney and Macy's were really the big two, and of their kind, they are the big two, but then you also have, your Marshalls and your TJ Maxx's and Ross and all of those, but those are a little bit different, a little bit lower tiered. The stores aren't quite as huge. You don't need a ton of real estate space for those stores, and their entire plan is a little bit different. And then it says Macy's has already closed about 150 stores and will close about 150 more. And I don't really know the timeline there, but I'm guessing for 2020 or maybe in a year. And that's really not surprising. They've been closing stores for years. And then just that second point there after the store closings is that Macy's depends on key fashion brands. Many apparel manufacturers are competing directly with Macy's, and Macy's is really not in a great position to outcompete or outgrow anyone right now. And in fact, they're almost guaranteed to continue to shrink, at least in the number of stores. And then just lastly, COVID crisis is likely to result in a large decrease in Macy's 2020 results, which is pretty much a guarantee. And it's also going to accelerate the closure of weaker malls. This was already going to happen. It was inevitable, but it's going to just be even worse for Macy's in the short term. Even with all of that being said in the video, if you are looking to make a swing trade on just a couple of weeks or even a few months, there is potentially some really good money to be made there, but I mostly take a look at stocks for the long term on this channel. Come check out my channel for more videos and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching.